'cause I've lied. So I will have to learn to stand my ground. Tell them I won't be around. Move on over to your town and hide. And you be the captain, and I'll be no one. And you can carry me away if you want to. You can lay low, just like your father. And if I tread upon your feet, you just say so. 'Cause you're the captain, I am no one. I tend to feel as though I owe one to you. All my efforts in, searched here for my second wind. Is there somewhere here to let me in? I ask. So I slammed the doors, they slammed at me. I found the place I'm meant to be. I figured out my destiny at last. And you be the captain, and I'll be no one. And you can carry me away if you want to. You can lay low, just like your father. And if I tread upon your feet, you just say so. 'Cause you're the captain, I am no one. I tend to feel as though I owe one to you. Did I forget to thank you for the ride I hadn't tried? I tend to run away and you be the captain, and I'll be no one. And you can carry me away if you want to. You can lay low, just like your father. And if I tread upon your feet, you just say so. 'Cause you're the captain, I am no one. I tend to feel as though I owe one to you. 'Cause you're the captain, I am no one. I tend to feel as though I owe one to you. 'Cause you're the captain, I am no one, and I owe one to you. Oh, I love the ukulele. That's cool. We should do it like that on stage.
Hey guys, it's Anthony at Macron Music here, and we are with the always lovely Kasey Chambers. How are you going today, Case?
I'm good. Are you sick of seeing me yet?
Never. We love you coming in. It's
I bug
always
these
great.
guys all the time.
It's fantastic to have a local superstar coming in all the time, and it's funny, everyone kind of double takes, they walk in and go, is that Kasey Chambers?
They're sick of me now.
There's
I
a
know
couple
they
of guys
are.
over there that are looking at you right now going, who is that? So, first of all, before we get started, what I want to talk about today, let's talk about your current album and tour, the Campfire album. How's it been going?
Yeah, it's been unreal. We're slowing down now because we were out on the road for nearly 4 months, full on that whole time, all around Australia. And it was great because, I mean, we did like a lot of the major cities and all that, had a bit of fun, but we also got out to some real regional areas. We went to like Coober Pedy and Roxby Downs and out to Alice and outback Queensland and
And
yeah,
are
all
they
these
places that you
different
go on
places.
tour normally?
Well, I try and get to as many regional places as I can. I
Yeah.
think I probably go to more regional places than most touring artists.
Sure.
You know, that's a lot of my my early childhood was spent in the outback of Australia. I grew up on the Nullarbor Plains,
Yeah,
so
awesome.
outback is very familiar to me, and
Yeah.
I love visiting those areas. And I think sometimes it's those regional places where they don't get as much stuff come out there, so they are going to go out of their way to make sure that we have a good time and
Yeah.
they look after you. And I just love visiting those places.
Oh,
yeah.
it's awesome. No, and from the photos and videos that you've been doing, it looks like everyone is really enjoying themselves. The band is reduced on this tour. It's only a small amount of guys, so
Yeah.
it's really personal. People are getting to actually spend kind of almost one-on-one time with you in that
It is.
scenario.
It's kind of like that because we've sort of created this little campfire theme. So I want people to go away from the show actually feeling like they've been sitting around a campfire with us.
Yeah.
So we have a little campfire on stage, and we have only the instruments that you would actually hear around a campfire, and we sing the songs in that style. And even we go back to like a lot of the band songs from the early days, from The Captain and Barricades and Brick Walls, but we do them in campfire style.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. And the best thing is it's a fake fire, so your hair doesn't smell like smoke the next day.
Very important for OH&S purposes. The insurance premiums be too high if it's a real fire.
Oh, no, I
instead.
was just worried because I don't have to wash my hair on
That's-
tour.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
It's always
Brand is
good.
another story, though. You've got to get him to wash his hair more often. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about today, and the reason that you're actually here is that now you're never sitting still. You just can't sit still, can you? So you've got.
I'm struggling right now to sit still.
You've
Like, I
launched
kinda
a
wanna
clothing
get
label
made.
with your daughter last week. You're touring around the world. You've got all kinds of stuff going on, and you've now found time to spend some time in Africa with some people who are a bit less fortunate than us. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've spent a bit of time in Africa over the years. I went there about 20 years ago, and just for a holiday with my mum, really low budget safari that we did for about 6-7 weeks over there through a bunch of different countries. And it was really just a bucket list thing we wanted to tick off, and had always wanted to go to Africa. But I fell in love with the place and found a real connection with the people over there, the culture, even just the land. Like, it actually reminds me a lot of the outback of Australia.
Yeah, right.
A few left giraffes here wandering around, and a
No
few more
emus and kangaroos.
exactly, exactly. So the animals are slightly different, but the landscape actually looks really similar in a lot of places that I've been. And I just found this real connection to the place and absolutely loved it and started going back a little bit more. And I took my kids over last year, which was amazing. Got to sort of experience a lot of things over there with them.
Yep.
And then I started working with the school in Zambia called Our Rainbow House. And it's this beautiful little Australian-owned school. It's very, very small. It's only got about 50 kids in it. But it's they provide education and nutrition basically for very vulnerable children, some orphans and just less fortunate children in the local area.
Yep.
Basically kids that would never have an opportunity to get an education. Sure. And I think, we take education so much for granted.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely,
my kids, like I've got 3 kids. I've got a 16-year-old, an 11-year-old, and then a little 6-year-old girl. And they, they do the whinge. I don't want to go to school today, And I used to do it when I was a kid too. I don't have the fondest memories of school, I must admit. And it's just sort of built into us to, take it for granted.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
a little bit.
It's not a privilege. It's almost like just part of your daily existence between being 5 and sort of 18 years
Isn't
old.
it? And, and that's okay too. I'm not preaching to anyone by any means, but I think going over there and being a part of this school has made me realise how lucky we are to have the opportunity to learn. And don't get me wrong, I cannot go over there and teach these kids maths because they already know more than I do. So I'm
no one's asking for your times tables.
You know what? I sat in.
Theorem, though.
I sat in on their maths lesson and I was like, all right, this is already beyond me. I
we need to send them to your music school and you to their maths school.
Well, that's right. And then I started. I was basically teaching some music as well. And I'm not a music teacher either, by any means. But it was really just about sharing music with these kids, and they have a great music teacher in this little school. And we spent about a week over there, just going in every day to this school and teaching music. We wrote some songs together with these kids and just bringing out their creative side and just being a part of what they do. And they were teaching me dances and teaching me their traditional songs, and then they were learning like they sing my campfire song, but they replace the word campfire with their local word for campfire, and then they would teach that back to me, and it was just beautiful, like the most amazing experience. To be honest, most of them can teach me a thing or two about singing too. They're amazing. They're so incredible.
They're naturally very talented people. They're very rhythmic and they're very just naturally
they're dancing.
Talented.
And part of their actual curriculum in their school is to do these incredible dances, and it's just mesmerising. So I think I got as much out of it as they did, you know. And it was really amazing. But what also I realised over there is they don't have access to a lot of ways to go any further than that with music, which then when I was chatting to you about this, and you were like, well, we'll put our hand up and send a few instruments over, which means just the world to these kids. I can't wait because that's on the next trip. I haven't given it to them yet, so I'm so excited.
Do they know that you're coming back with instruments?
No.
Okay, cool.
They
so
don't.
It's going to be a total surprise.
So a total surprise. And so you graciously donated this beautiful guitar and 2 ukuleles, and then, you know, I've roped Brandon into coming too, and because I don't know how to teach him any of these things. I can't play ukulele. That's right. So that's where Brandon comes in.
Brandon's walking around the shop going, when's it my turn?
So he's my guitar player in my band, and he's going to come too and help out teaching these kids. And it's really just about sharing a lot of stuff too. Like, we'll be also serving food. You know, we'll be there. You know, there's some building stuff that we're doing while we're there. So it's not just all music based either. This everyone sort of just gets in and does a bit of everything. And like I say, I'm happy to do anything as long as it's not maths.
That's right.
That's the one you don't want my help on all.
Exactly.
But we appreciate, you know, obviously you guys, and I know you've always been way more than what people will ever know about. You've always been so generous here in the shop with helping out a lot of local charities and all of that. And
you have been as well. I mean, whenever I ask you to sign anything or things like that, you've always been great. So it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the fact that you come in here.
Yeah.
And obviously
Good.
the fact that, you know, you're letting people know about what we do, which is really important. But most importantly, I thought it was an awesome cause, and I thought it was just something that, you know, it was just a no-brainer for us.
Oh, look, do you know what? I think most people in the world, not just in our local area, but, you know, particularly for us, we live in the same area. I think most people want to help.
Yeah, of
I
course.
really do. I think it's born
People are
into
genuinely
everybody.
good.
They want to help.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you and I are in a lucky position where we actually have something at our fingertips that can sort of help, you know, very easily.
Yeah. And they're only small things, but they mean the world to some other people.
Right.
And it's important.
And they are. For us, I mean, I find it exciting to go over there and spend a bit of time with these kids. And like I say, I get just as much out of it as they do, I think.
That's
But
awesome.
I think when you put that opportunity in front of people and share this, even like we are now, it sparks something in people, and people go, I want to do that too. And this is what makes the world go round.
Yeah, of course.
You know, it really is, and I feel like we're lucky because we're in a position where you know, we can sort of do things that are easy for us to make a difference, and then that spreads. You know,
absolutely, for sure. And do you think that, now you mentioned you're a mum, you've got three kids, 2 boys and a girl. Do you think that being a mum and a musician professionally has led you down this path? Like, I mean, you've gone and you're volunteering. I suppose what you're doing is sort of a parenting type situation. How do you sort of connect the two worlds of being a mum, being a musician, and then also then going and giving your time to charity? You know, is it all sort of one thing, or are they separate parts of your brain?
I think they all blend in together to a certain extent, but I do also think that often I just have to look at balance in my life. My life is pretty crazy because, you know, one minute I might be, you know, like making school lunches and dropping the kids at swimming lessons.
Going to hospital with your boys, getting x-rays for broken bones, which they seem to break every 5 minutes.
It's just, honestly, I'm not letting Poet out of my sight this week.
Yeah, exactly.
A broken leg and a broken wrist within 2 weeks with my 2 boys, skateboarding and footy.
There you go.
So I don't
Dangerous
know.
activities.
I'm
Music's
glad the
much safer.
season's over. Let me tell you. I'm I'm like, poet, maybe you should get into chess.
That's right.
You know?
Exactly,
yeah. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, exactly. No Muay Thai or kickboxing for her. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
no,
awesome.
I think it is all, life is all about balance. And,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'd like to be going over and visiting in Africa once a month, but I can't afford to do that with my own having my own family, my own career, and all those things. So you do what you can. I think everybody does that. And I think from a working mum's point of view, we have to just remind ourselves, we just do what we can. Yep. There is no such thing as super mum.
No.
And it is okay if at the end of the day you're rocking back and forth in the fetal position going, what the hell am I doing, you know? And
there's no manual for it.
There's no manual for it. And I think once I realised that, I actually handled everything a lot better.
Yeah,
I used to want to do everything and I wanted to be on top of everything. And I honestly would, some days I'd be like, I would forget to hand in a school note and I would literally be in tears about it. And I'm like, hang on a minute, this is not right. Get a reality check. It really isn't. Go, you know what, you're going to forget some things. And what it means is, I do want to be a working mum. I do want to still go out and tour and make music and all that. And I want to encourage all of those things in my kids too. I want Poet to see that you can actually have your own dreams and not just dedicate your life to being a mother.
Sure.
But I also want to make sure that I'm there for my kids as much as I can, and I'm not, away from them all the time. So they come on the road with me a lot, you know. And look, to be honest, they're bloody annoying. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, it's all roses out on the road. Honestly, sometimes I'm just, sometimes I just lie to them and tell them that it's bedtime and it's like, it's not yet. And I'd change the clock.
In the afternoon. Yeah.
No, that clock's wrong. Yeah. Okay, it's time for bed now, kids,
You can't escape it because you've got your dad on tour with you as well and your brother as well. Is he in Australia?
He's actually just moved over to Nashville. So he's no help anymore.
Get rid of him.
He's got his own 4 kids to worry about.
Oh, my God. So you can't escape it. You just can't escape it.
You can't escape
Family's
it.
family, right?
It is, and you can't choose them, can you?
That's right. Exactly.
No, but look, I live a pretty realistic kind of life. Some days just don't work, and some days are overwhelming, and sometimes it's bloody hard. It really is. I'm not going to pretend that I got it all sorted and everything.
Who does though?
But that's it.
Yeah.
Nobody does. No. All these people on Instagram with their filters.
That's right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm one of them.
You
I love a filter.
On the toilets with your outfits and I see the Instagram posts.
But there's also the pictures of me getting nits out of my kids' hair.
I saw
again.
Again. It wasn't the first time.
That's right. So that's all real too. Do you know one of my main things is honestly having the outlet of music means so much to me. I can't even explain, and I want to give that to my children too. Yeah. And I don't care whether they become musicians, but I think it's really important for kids to have creative outlets. Of
course.
And I think everyone's creative. Yeah. I believe that there is creativity in everybody. And I don't mean everyone can play an instrument or everyone can paint a picture or whatever. I think there are ways of being creative. I actually look at my son. I have a 16-year-old son. He plays a bit of guitar and he likes it, and he loves music. But his main passion is football, right? AFL football. Honestly, he's just got blinders on about everything else in his life. He just absolutely loves football. Yeah. He's the sweetest kid. He's a lovely teenager, all that. But it's just football.
Yeah,
that's all he cares about.
Yeah.
Even on the off season, he's still thinking about. Yeah. He's like, when's training starting again? And he's still in it.
Yeah, he's fully into it.
But he's very creative about it.
Right.
Like he approaches that passion in him, that fire in him. Yeah. He approaches it like I do about music. Yeah, and awesome. I love that in him. I love seeing that, and I think it makes for a beautiful outlet for kids, and I think Arlo is probably, he's my 11-year-old, he's probably more musically inclined to take that path. I reckon his dad's very musical, very talented, and I think that's sort of been passed down to him, maybe more than the other kids, but sort of hard to tell this early.
Yeah.
But I just love that they have something that they can, let something out to, and it's reckless, and it has no boundaries, and they can approach it the way they want, the way that it works, not the way I've told them to, or their dad's told them to, or society's told them to.
Yeah.
It's just a creative outlet for them, and they may never do. They might, I don't know, they might become doctors or lawyers. Probably not, but
or AFL players. Exactly. It's not a bad career.
It's
these
a
days.
short career, though.
Short career. Lots of bad knees. Yeah. So I mean, all this talk about your family and all these wonderful things that you find time to do. I mean, it's for me and knowing you for a number of years now, I just find it amazing that you still got the energy and the time to go and get over to Africa and go and do these kind of things. And I think that. Lots and lots of parents are going to look at you and go, you are mad. Like, how do you find time for this stuff? Because they know how stressful it is being a parent. What would you say? What's your one bit of advice for parents out there who've got a musical child or a creative child? What can they do to get those kids on the right path so that they can have a career in music? Because as you know, it's really, really hard. Like, yes, I own a music shop. You're a musician. These things don't come from nothing. They're hard, and it's a hard ground industry to kind of keep chipping away at. What would you say with a parent who's got a kid? It's like, I want my child to be a doctor or a nurse, but all the child wants to do is be a muso, or a theatre actor, or an actor in film, or whatever, a dancer. What's your advice?
Well, I think I look at from my point of view of being a parent, I want my kids to take the path in life that makes them feel alive. And if that is music, then awesome. If that is being a doctor, then awesome. Then if that is funnily enough, my son works in Baker's Delight, right? This is his first job he's had.
I love the Danishes, ham and cheese Danishes. Can you get me some?
Well,
it's like a whole box.
I'll get you a cut price. How about that?
Discount. Baker's Delight. We don't mean it. We're joking.
It's great actually because Tal brings home a few loaves of bread at the end of the day.
Right.
Parmesan sub every now and then. And then the kids' school lunches are done the next day for me.
It's about outsourcing.
I've got my 16-year-old sorting my little one's school lunches for the next day.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
See?
But seriously, I'm not kidding. When my son talks about working there, this is his first job he's ever had.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah.
Man, he loves it. He's just like, oh, Mum, it's so good. I get to serve people all day and talk to people and meet new people all day. And the other people that I work with are so nice, and we have so many laughs and all that,
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
That I'm at this point in my life and this point in his life, that makes him happy.
Yeah,
So that makes me happy,
of course.
And then he comes home and, he goes to footy training, of course. And then the next thing he does is pick up a guitar and he plays that. And now I don't think that he will probably choose the path of music, I don't know that he wants to ever do that. But the fact that he can sit down for an hour on his own in a room after a day of going to school, working, and then, going to footy training, and he can sit on a guitar and just play and be lost in his own world and find some magic in that, then that's, from a parent's point of view, that's beautiful. Yeah, exactly. That's everything to me because he's doing all these different things and he hasn't chosen his path yet to be on. Well, he thinks he has AFL football. Yep. But I don't know what it is that he's going to do, and I don't know what it is my 11-year-old is going to do. I know my 6-year-old is going to probably scream the house down. She's as loud as anything, so she'll be a singer. She got it from me. I can't complain.
Jimmy Barnes style.
I know it is. Honestly, I reckon she could even give Jimmy Barnes a run for his money. Holy moly!
That'd be an interesting video. We'll get Pollard up against Jimmy Barnes and a scream off.
Okay, challenge accepted. I'm gonna make that happen. Oh my God, let me write that down. I need no, but I just want them to do something that makes them feel alive. And I really think, even if that's not even their career, right? Some people choose to go, well, I'm going to work over here and that doesn't make me feel alive, but I'm going to offset it with something over here, and that's okay as well. I just want them to find something that makes them feel alive. And, for my thing, like at home, we have instruments all around our house. And I reckon that's been obviously I'm in a lucky position where I have a lot of instruments laying around. I have a studio, all those things. So it's always laying around. But my kids pick up instruments all the time. And I don't know if they're going to choose that path or you know, go to lessons for that instrument or whatever. But they just pick them up.
To it,
Being exposed to it is really important, I think. And it's the same with... you know, I'm sure if you have a lot of art in your life and you want your kids to, you know, to be interested in that or at least find that within themselves to be interested in it, have it around all the time for them to be able to pick up a paintbrush and start, you know, painting on a canvas or something, awesome. You know, just finding that creativity. And I reckon there's something I do up at the PCYC up at...
Batto
Bay, yes. I do a little bit of work up there with some of the young girls there, where we do a bit of songwriting, and they're teenage girls, wayward teenage girls, you know, that have kind of lost their way a little bit and need a bit of pointing back in the right direction. And oh my God, the workers up there, the volunteers up there are incredible. I can't say enough good things about them. And I go in sometimes and do a bit of songwriting with them, and none of them are songwriters. I don't think any of them even really... Oh, there's a couple that are interested in singing and that, but I don't think that's a path they want to go down. But they sit in a room with like-minded people who are open and honest and real, and they throw lyrics out, and we write these songs, and then they feel like they've accomplished something, and they've accomplished something from a real... deep place within themselves that they may not have felt comfortable to share it if it wasn't in a creative sense. So they may not want to sit down with a counsellor and say that because it's, I don't know, but you know, I think having a creative outlet is so important in everyone's life. I just don't know what that is yet. You know?
Of course, yeah. Well, look, thank you so much for coming and chatting to us today. It's been awesome.
Worries.
We should also thank our friends over at Daddario down in Melbourne, because they've also hooked us up with the guitars that are going over, and ukuleles are one of their brands. And Daddario look after you with your strings as well, which is fantastic. They string all your instruments up, your mandolins and your banjos, and your...
They've been looking after us for a long time, and it means so much. Like, you know, I don't know that anyone really realizes like what that means to that school. This school in Zambia is in this little local area where it is literally hundreds of miles from anywhere that they would ever have an opportunity to be able to buy a guitar, let alone have the money to buy a guitar, you know. So it's not... the last time I went over there, I took one of my DeGrucci guitars that I'd had for a long time, written many songs, wrote Not Pretty Enough on it, all of that. And it's a pretty special guitar to me. And I left it there with them at that place. I have a beautiful little Gibson that I play on stage and take around with me these days. And this was one that that I use mostly at home for songwriting. And now I have a resident guitar in this little school that I get to go over and play every time.
Go and visit,
But there are 50 kids in there. So to get that one guitar around all that, and that's all they have there. And even the music teacher who comes in doesn't have a guitar. And so now he has a guitar to be able to teach them there. And with these ones that you guys here at Macron have donated, they will now have 2 acoustic guitars and 2 ukuleles. We've got Brandon, my guitar player, coming over to actually sit in and spend a week there teaching these kids how to play some of these instruments so that they can then go on and until we get back there next time have something to practice. And we're going to write some songs on these instruments. And it's awesome. Amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And the trip's in October. We'll check in with you when you get back. We'll look out for the Instagram pictures.
I will. I'll tag you guys in it, and you'll be able to see.
I think people will be really, really excited to see what you've done. So thank you, and we'll catch you soon.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers.